What is good? Good. Everyone. Shoobs here. This is so scuffed. What is good, everyone? Shoobs here. Today we are gonna be taking a dive into the wonderful world of linear switches. This isn't all the linear switches in the world, but I think the selection should give a good idea of many popular ones, including some of the popular Franken switches within this absurd hobby. I'll have all the info that I could find on each of these switches on the screen through the magic that is my scuffed editing skills, so let's get right into the switches. First section are the switches manufactured by JWK/Durock. I hear some people saying that all JWK switches are the same, and that is 100% cap, BS, get the fuck out of here. So what we have in this section are Tangerines, Banana Splits, Lavenders, H1s, POM Durocks, Marshmallows, and Alpacas, which in my opinion all have their own unique characteristics and sound. Out of the list here, your standard JWK, or what many know as the basis of recolors, will be these Alpacas. So in the second section, we got the cult favorite, the tried and true classics, the Cherry MX Blacks. Actually, these aren't really a classic. These ones specifically are the newer Hyperglide variants of the MX Blacks, which is supposed to be real smooth. Third, we got our Gateron produced switches, which are the Tealios Ink Black V2s and Milky Tabiellos. And fourth, we got our one lone kale contender, the Lubed Creams. And finally, we got some of the popular Franken switches, the Creampacas, Creamsicles, Black Cherry Pies, Lubed Creams with unwiped stem, that's UHMWPE, and Gateron Black Inks with unwiped stems. Here's a little visual of the stems of the switches that we are going through today, just for your reference. Here we have a little stem wobble test. I'm gonna do it real quick since there's so many switches. Tangies, up down, left right, minimal, up down, left right, minimal for banana splits, up down, left right, minimal for lefts, up down, left right, minimal, up down, left right, minimal, up down, left right, minimal. It's like inputting a goddamn Street Fighter code. Up down, left right, minimal, hyperglides, up down, left right. A little more than these, but still pretty minimal. Tealios, up down, left right. Actually, there's a little bit of wobble. Get black inks, up, down, left, right. Yellows, up, down, left, right. Oh my goodness, this one is a wobbly boy. Up, down, left, right for creams. Pretty solid. Creampacas, up, down, left, right. Solid. Creamsicles, up, down, left, right. Solid. Black cherry pies, up, down, left, right. Very solid. Unwipe Lubed Creams, up, down, left, right. Oh my goodness, this one is wobbly as well. And get black inks, up, down, left, right. Looking at the test right now, JWKs all seem pretty solid. Hyperglides are also solid. The Gateron switches, the black inks and Tealios are pretty good, but the yellows have the most wobble out of all of these, and the unwiped stems also have a considerable amount of wobble. So yeah, as always for the sound tests, I'll be testing out all the switches on the Z position, just cause the position of the switch affects the sound. I'll be testing out stock and then lubed and filmed second, and just be mindful that everyone's case, plate, room acoustics, lubing technique, and all that is different, so sound tests aren't 100% accurate representation of the switch, and just to take this as a grain of salt. Okay, so here is what I think of the switches in terms of smoothness. I just want to note that the overall performance of the switch can vary batch by batch. Also, this will be based on the perspective of a lubed and film switch, because, well, if you're chasing smoothness and aren't lubing your switches, you're never really going to find happiness. Just like me. Anyways, my scale of rating will be from buttery smooth to I ate all the crackers actually, so we're going with the Pringles chip scratchy this time. So in my opinion, for smoothness, the switches using the tangerine housings, which is made of wipe, seemed to be the smoothest. The wipe stemmed Gator Black Ink V2s were a close second to these. The ones using alpacas, not alpacas, but just the regular JWK housing, which was the PC nylon mix for the top housing and such as the banana splits, alpacas, and the creampacas, were right below the. It was slightly less smooth than the wipe housing tangerines. H1s were in there as well. The creams with the wipe stems were noticeably less smooth than the Gator Black inks, probably due to the POM housing, which I find super scratchy. And for the nylon based housings, the Tealios, actually Tealios isn't really confirmed to be nylon, but that's what a lot of people say, and I sort of agree from what I've been seeing. But for the nylon based housings such as the Lavs, Marshmallows, and Tealios, they were in the middle ground for scratchiness or smoothness. They weren't really scratchy, they're pretty good. The Gator Black inks were right. I think they are less smooth than the Tealios, but they fall between the Lavs and the Marshmallows. And for this section, which is also, it's like sort of unknown blends, Cherry MX Blacks, the Black Cherry Pies, the POM Durocks, and the Gator Yellows were noticeably less smooth than the rest, but they were still not that bad. And here, I mean, we already know the creams still stand at the very top of the scratch food chain. This is a scuffed as little scale right here. I just placed them from what I was feeling at the time, but this is basically what the sound profile from what I've been hearing after testing out all the switches was. The Black Cherry Pies seemed the deepest sounding to me. The Gator Black inks, the POM Durocks, and the Lavs were very deep as well. The Hyperglides and the Creams were a little less deep than these other ones, but still deep nonetheless. Marshmallows, Tealios, pretty deep as well. The unwiped stemmed variants of the Creams and the Black inks were higher pitched, in my opinion, than with the standard POM stems. Or actually, is the ink POM stems? I don't know. Gator likes to keep shit so secret, it's sort of crazy. The Creampacas were a bit on the clackier side. Oh my goodness. The H1s and the Gator Yellows were a little bit clacky. Alpacas, banana splits, pretty clacky. And the unwipe housing of the Creamsicles and the Tangerines make it the clackiest out of all the linear switches that are on this list, in my opinion. In terms of pricing, the Black Cherry Pies are the most expensive, coming in at around $1.60 to make, depending on how cheap you can find cherry tops to sacrifice it to. The second most expensive are the Creamsicles, which will run you about $1.30, Creampacas $1.20, Tealios $1.10 or $1 depending on the color. You pay the extra 10 cents for turquoise, it's not worth it. Unwiped inks $1.05, unwiped creams 95 cents, inks are 75 cents, POM Durocks are 70 cents, Tangies, banana splits, marshmallows, creams, Lavs, and H1s will all run you around 65 cents. Alpacas are around 55 cents, Hyperglides are around 50 cents, and Gator Yellows are around 24 cents. So for a general overview of these linear switches, each one has a unique sound and feel to them, different weights, different variabilities, different molds, it's all different. So you can't really put a finger on what the best one is. There's no such thing. Franken switching is expensive. Is it worth it? No. Does it give you a switch that doesn't exist in the market? Yes. If you're looking for that specific kind of sound and feel, then go for it. I mean, my wallet hates me, but I spent so much money on Franken switching already. It's another deep ass rabbit hole that is part of this hobby, which is just a vacuum for your bank account. In terms of value and performance, I don't really want to speak on that because all these switches are good in their own right. There's no real bad switch. It doesn't exist. I mean, maybe there are some, but I won't say. But overall, if you're looking for a really good budget switch, Tealios are a good pick. If you want to spend a little extra money for smoothness, Alpacas are also a good pick. And the higher end of switches is just really dependent on the preference that you have and the type of preference that you build. I would recommend you just buying small batches of all these, like a lot of different kinds of switches, to try it out yourself, because watching these videos and listening to sound tests won't give you 100% accurate representation of what you will really like. And the only way to really get into the hobby and to learn more is to spend that guap to, you know, increase knowledge. I mean, at least it's cheaper than buying college textbooks, right? Anyways guys, thank you all so much for the overwhelming support. It means a lot to me. Thank you to everyone joining my Discord and talking in chat. Makes me feel less alone in this type of quarantined place, you know. And yeah, it's been quite a wild journey so far. We're only like 2 months into this YouTube stuff, but it's been crazy, so I appreciate every single one of you. More comedy and informative videos and other stuff on the way soon, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.